Welcome everyone. This is going to be our second to last katakana lesson. In this one, we're going to learn the katakana versions of wa, o, and n. So first up, we have wa, wa. We start with a short vertical line going from top to bottom. Our second stroke starts at the same point as our first stroke. Then we go out from left to right, stop, and we come down and curve out to the left. Our next katakana is wo or o. Now, a few notes about this one before we go on. As I mentioned before, the only time I've really seen wo or o used in Japanese is to write the particle o. Now, if we're writing a particle, we're really going to use hiragana to do that. So in all likelihood, when you write the Japanese language, you are probably not going to have to use this katakana. However, I have included a katakana word with this one in our practice, just to make sure that you get a little chance to practice it. And to write this one, we start out with a horizontal line going from left to right, another horizontal line underneath the first one, and finally, our third stroke. Our third stroke starts where our first stroke ends. It's going to come down, curving slightly to the left, and it's going to connect with our second stroke on the way down. And finally, we have n, n. We start out with a short curved line that comes from left to right and top to bottom. Then underneath that, we draw a single stroke. It starts at the bottom and comes to the top, and it goes from left to right with a slight curve. Now, if you remember back several lessons, you may have noticed that so and n look very similar in the way that they're written. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of information on how to tell these two apart. Besides shi and tsu, these were the other two katakana that gave me some trouble when I was first learning them. So the first thing to notice about so is that when we draw that second stroke, that it comes from top to bottom, and that it really is more vertically aligned than n is. It stands up a bit more than n does. The other thing to notice is that the starting points of the first stroke and the second stroke of so line up horizontally. So in contrast, let's take a look at n. Now you'll notice when we're drawing our second stroke for n, it comes from bottom to top instead of from top to bottom. The other thing to notice is that it is more horizontal than so is. It is laid out not completely flat, but definitely closer to being horizontal than so. And the starting points for our first and second strokes for n line up vertically. So now that we've gone over those, let's practice spelling some words. Our first word is pan, which means bread, and it comes from the Spanish word pan, which also means bread. So one more time, that is pan. Pa, n, pan. Wan wan. This is the sound effect used for a dog barking. It'll be basically equivalent to woof woof or maybe bow wow in English. Wan wan. Wa, n, wa, n. Wan wan. Wine, which means wine. Wine. Wa, I, n. Wine. And finally, kaworu. This is a name, and you'll notice we're going to be using our katakana wo for this one. Kaworu. Ka, wo, and ru. kaworu. And that is it for this lesson. We're going to have one more katakana lesson where we're going to learn about small katakana. Ja, mata.